need to get this up and running. Okay. How's it going, guys? Just give me a few minutes here, getting everything set up. Make sure we are streaming where we're supposed to. Perfect. All right, get that shared out. All right. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode. Of course, obviously this, is not an ideal, time to be an Eagles fan. It has not been fun at all. And, the controversy just continues to get stirred up more and more every single week. It seems like, my expectations get lowered every week. And I'm just not surprised by the dysfunction. There's so many things that were, put on national television yesterday during that game. Just pure controversy. I mean, between Carson Wentz, yelling at Press Taylor, after he gets sacked like 2 times in a row. You had a little miscommunication. There was this very awkward exchange between Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz where they didn't know who was supposed to come off the field. That was just really awkward, which I know they've had their bit of a feud during the training camp and off season this past year. Just because, Dallas Goedert, he feels like he's the guy. And, it looks like he is. He's receiving the most targets. He's been, the most consistent since he's gotten back from injury. But, overall, obviously the big, elephant in the room is Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. It's all that we're going to hear about for the rest of the season. And, you may as well get used to it. Jalen Hurts did Carson Wentz no favors yesterday. And let's be honest, Carson Wentz has done himself no favors this season. The Eagles decided they wanted to go down this road when, they they go out and draft a quarterback in the second round when you just, gave an extension to your franchise quarterback. So just really, just a really odd time to be an Eagles fan. And don't mind me, guys. I'm just trying to get this shared out here. But, it's just a terrible time to be an Eagles fan. It's embarrassing. The things that Howie has put on this team, what this team has done with Carson Wentz. You look at a guy that was, renowned as a good quarterback. Not everybody called him elite. Not everybody called him a top 10 quarterback. He was at least just, recognized as a good quarterback. This year is ridiculous, obviously. The turnovers and the poor execution on his end. Obviously, I as Jeff McClain, said last night, I think that final straw was that just duck of a pass to Dallas Goedert, who's, wide open. He's going to score a touchdown if you just lead him a little bit. And, we've watched Carson play. That's not Carson's, it's usually not something that he has trouble with. He has a rocket of an arm. Confidence isn't there. And it was time. It was time to make that change. I'm a Carson apologist. Everybody knows me if you watch my podcast. But Jalen Hurts, he came out, he gave a spark. And, like Doug said in the press conference earlier today, he was looking for a spark. He got a spark. The difference, that stands out to me, I guess, aside from, the beautiful touch that Jalen Hurts had on two of those passes there to Greg Ward for the touchdown and the deep one to Jalen Reagor. But, Jalen Hurts, his mobility is what stands out to me. And, I'm not saying you start a quarterback because he can run. I'm not a guy that, believes in a running quarterback system that's the best option, because it showed in the past that doesn't win championships in reality. But in this case, when you have such a terribly beat up offensive line, they're out of sync. You got starters back, and they still don't know what to do together. They haven't played together all season. We know about all the offensive line combinations. When you have issues like that on the offensive line, if the coaches aren't going to do the players any favors by running the football, getting Carson out of the pocket, designed out of the pocket plays, bootlegs, play action passes. If you're not going to do that, then you need to go towards a quarterback like Jalen Hurts that has the ability to escape. I mean, I know Jalen Hurts was sacked 3 times yesterday, but he would have been sacked probably 6 or 7 times if he wasn't able to just escape out of the pocket and get to the sideline and get back to the line of scrimmage. So as far as just looking for positive plays, for the offense going down the stretch here, it's looking like it's Hurts, and it's looking like it is Hurts is the better option just with this team. And it's always best practice, and I tweeted this out earlier. Yeah, Adam. Yeah, Eagles turned Carson into a pocket passer, but he was not that when he came into the league. If you watch Carson Wentz, 2017, if you watch Carson Wentz, even back at North Dakota State, he's a guy that likes to get out of the pocket. He's a guy that likes to run himself. It's not like Carson's some, immobile quarterback. He likes to run. So, he likes to get out of the pocket on those designed out of the pocket plays. And when the Eagles decided that they wanted to turn this into, turn Carson into this pocket passer, these elongated plays, these deep dropbacks. If that's the offense that you guys want, that's fine, but it doesn't fit Carson Wentz. And I don't know where the imbalance comes, as far as the coaching staff not meeting their players, because this is another thing I was going to talk about. I mean, everybody's talking about Carson Wentz and how the Eagles have ruined Carson Wentz. The Eagles have ruined several players. I mean, you look at yesterday, you have Miles Sanders comes out, starts the game decent, gets a first down. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Howard is out carrying him in the first half. So, that's not Doug. That's Deuce Staley with the running back rotations. So these errors are all over the place. Now, I don't know who's designating snaps in the wide receiver group. If that's Aaron Moorhead, how that works in that organization. But Alshon's getting more snaps. He's taken so many snaps from Fulgham. I mean, Fulgham had 2 targets yesterday. And this is a guy, during a 4 or 5 game stretch there, we were calling wide receiver 1. And, partially that's on the Eagles fan base. We are always way too quick to jump to conclusions, mark players as superstars. That's our fault on that end. But, there is a little bit of ground there where you can scheme a guy into a game plan. I mean, I just don't get it. You look at JJ Arcega-Whiteside. What's up, man? I mean, he's a healthy scratch. What, is that 3 weeks in a row now? So you bring Alshon back. You basically, mark your second round pick from last year as inactive in J-Jaw, who needs all the practice in the world, obviously. He hasn't been able to find his ground with this team since he got here. And he's looking like a bust. I mean, and I don't think we did him any favors. I mean, as you go down the line, I know we were quick, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson. I don't think those guys do what they're doing on other teams here. And it comes straight down to coaching. And, it's been talked about, it feels like 2 years now, at least 2 years now, that we've been talking about the coaching, player development, Howie Roseman's drafting, that's a whole other, story. We know that Howie needs to go. I mean, if he's not going to give up player personnel calling, and drafting, he's got to go. I mean, he's ruined this team's future. I mean, you look at some of the guys that he's missed on, and, I'm kind of contradicting myself there, when I'm talking about the coaching development versus, Howie Roseman drafting the right players. It all falls together, and somewhere in between there, we got to find that fine line. And I think that fine line would honestly be clearing out everything. You know what I mean? Clearing out the coaches, clearing out Howie, and starting over. But obviously, Jeffrey Lurie, he's a guy that wants success, and he wants championships. And, going into what would be basically a complete rebuild if you do clear out, your coaching staff and your GM there. Now, mind you, if you get the right GM, get the right coach, you never know what can happen. Look at Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl in his second season, which was just happened to be the perfect. I mean, how he put together the perfect team at the perfect time. You can't tell me if it was fluke or if it was luck. I don't care. It's a Super Bowl win. It's a championship. And so you can't tell yourself that can't happen. Like, it's happened. So this doesn't have to be a slow process. Most of the time it is. But with the amount of holes, that we have on the team, it is ridiculous. Yes, it's the whole team, every area of the team. They need to address that definitely. Yeah, I mean, from discipline to preparation to talent to execution, just doing what you're supposed to. There was a play yesterday, where Boston Scott and Jalen Reagor run into each other on offense. The play was over at that point because it was a screen to Boston Scott, or you had an option to go to Reagor on the crossing route. You run into each other, the play's over. The Carson sack, play over. I mean, a lot of the blame will go on Carson. I think we need to kind of understand what happened yesterday and what's been kind of happening this whole season. It's that while Carson's mobile, he's not as mobile as Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a mobile quarterback. You would call him a mobile quarterback. He's a scrambling style quarterback. So putting him in there with that offensive line is not, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean as much towards Carson as what everybody's making it seem. So, the way I take that is that Carson, there's not a lot of quarterbacks who would be successful in this offense, getting the pressure that he's gotten. I know he's missed some throws, and that's on him. But when you get hit, when you get sacked over 50 times, it's going to be a stigma in your head. And we gotta make the right decisions for the organization. As far as what we want to do the rest of this season, but we also have to keep in mind what we're going to do in the future with our quarterback position. So, I think as far as going into New Orleans, I think I'm going to go Jalen Hurts as a starter. Just because, one, we're not contending. I mean, what's the point of having your franchise quarterback out there getting beat up? And then two, if you're unsure about Carson, find out if Jalen Hurts is your guy in these last couple games. See if there's something there. If there is the potential that you obviously had seen the potential for you to draft him in the second round. When we didn't really need to draft a quarterback there, so. See what you got and let this guy get on the field and let's go. I guess, I don't want to spend all the time on Jalen Hurts. Obviously, it's like beating a dead horse. It had to happen eventually. But, with Miles Sanders now, this is the other guy. I saw a stat out there, 18 touches in the last two games for Miles Sanders, who's probably your best offensive weapon. I mean, all around, speed, what he's able to do, shiftiness, elusiveness. And he gets 18 touches. Like I said, Jordan Howard out-carried him in the first half. He leaves the game against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL with 10 carries. I know we were down, so that obviously, manipulates play calling. There's something wrong there. I mean, I pointed it out before the game yesterday about, Miles Sanders and how he was involved in the passing game, his rookie season. He had 500 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's night and day. It's hard to diagnose just one problem. And, like I said, the coaching staff, I saw another tweet out there, Aaron Moorhead and Jeff Stoutland are the only guys that need to come back next year. And, it's just about to that point, because it seems like, we were all, hey, good point, George. Does Stoutland get any blame? That it's kind of one of those questions, George, and you've kind of asked some of these questions before. And, it's kind of the same thing between Carson and Doug with the play calling. Is Carson changing these plays at the line? We're never going to find out who exactly is doing what and where. But you have to think Jeff Stoutland has to be a part of that. And if I'm Jeff Stoutland, I would definitely be in the room, clamoring, like, let's run the ball more. With my offensive line woes, I'm trying to patch holes here. Let's run the ball more. Doug starts outrunning, then he always gets pass happy. I mean, it's similar to what we saw for a little while there with Andy Reid. They'll say it in the press conferences, we want to stick with the run. We want to balance the offense. They'll come out early. They'll show you, they'll get you all bought in. Like, yeah, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. And, boom. Then as soon as one run play goes bad, nothing. No, it's over. We're passing the ball 30 to 40 times, no matter what. It makes you wonder if it's part of that coaching tree with Andy Reid. Now, don't get me wrong, Andy Reid, he was way more dialed into the run than Doug, but he did go through a few stretch years there where he just would not buy into the run. And, it was a lot of screen plays, whatever the case may be. It's hard to find the blame. Obviously, just to point out kind of what George was saying, where's the blame go for the run game? Where's the blame go for the team? I mean, Howie, my girlfriend here chiming in. It's Howie. I mean, we know it's Howie. It's just not the offseason right now. So, it's not getting totally fired up right now, but we're getting close. I mean, as we continue to lose games, everybody's going to be on the hot seat. I guess what I kind of wanted to get you guys' feel on, how do you guys feel about Doug? I mean, it's so confusing for me. Part of me feels like his hands are just so tied with this team. I feel like it is, it's like orders are coming down from Howie and Jeffrey. And, I just wonder how much of the blame goes towards Doug. And then, of course, all these reports, my guy Luke Stansfield from 4th and John actually came out and reported last night, he has a source saying that Doug is prepared to step down, at the end of the season. And I think that speaks, numbers to, what's going on there and how Doug feels about the situation. He doesn't like coaching this team, and I don't think it's because of the players. I think it's because the orders that have been dropped down on him, the player personnel that he's been given, just a lot of stuff there from, for a Super Bowl winning head coach to not have any power. Yeah. I watched his press conference this morning. He's like you said, he's checked out. I mean, the entire team appears to be checked out. I feel like, it's hard to diagnose who's at fault here between Doug and, the rest of the coaching staff and Howie. But the fact that, Doug is talking about, leaving, stepping down, who steps down, after three straight playoff trips and a Super Bowl, and you're going to step down from coaching. That says a lot to me about, what's going on around you, not what you're doing necessarily. And, I thought it was interesting, in the press conference this morning, he was getting badgered about the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz talk, who's going to start against New Orleans. He said he doesn't have the decision yet. Obviously, he's going to play that out. It would be dumb to give your starter right now. You want to hide that before a game in New Orleans, against New Orleans, I should say. But, besides that point, they asked him, who are you discussing this decision with? Are you talking with coaches? Are you talking with other players? Are you talking with Howie? Are you talking with Jeff Lurie? Doug said, no, it's my decision. And then they even asked him, would you even consider talking to Press Taylor, considering he is the QB coach? He said, no. You know what I mean? So Doug is taking all the accountability for this decision. And it seems like that may be his last leg of, responsibility or power. And it just makes me wonder. But, to say you're not even going to consult any of the other coaches, you're not going to consult your owner or your GM, I think it's the right decision. You are the head coach. But I got George here. I don't think we've seen the real Doug. His hands are tied. Yeah, I agree. I think Doug's hands are tied. George knows I was putting the fire under Doug's ass, probably 2-3 weeks ago, maybe. The offensive production was just disgusting and miserable to watch. So, I was putting the fire to Doug, and, I'm kind of moving away from that and moving more towards just the overall dysfunctionality of the entire organization can seem to make anyone look bad. It's making everyone look bad. So to put one blame, I don't know. And then, George, another good point here. What is funny is that people think Benemy will go to Philly after what he has seen happen to Doug. Let's be honest, guys. In all realities, who would come to Philly after seeing how anybody has been dealt here? I mean, you look at Carson. Carson has been stabbed in the back. I mean, you go out and you draft a second round pick. You use it on a backup quarterback. Carson's been stabbed in the back. Miles Sanders has been stabbed in the back. Travis Fulgham, short career lived here, stabbed in the back. Jay Jaw, stabbed in the back. Malcolm Jenkins, stabbed in the back. I mean, the list is endless, and you can't deny it. We've seen stuff. We saw the stuff come out with Orlando Scandrick. Orlando Scandrick doesn't look as irrational anymore. He doesn't look crazy. Just because he called Howie a snake, we all went off on him. But what does Howie look like? He said something about if Howie says it's raining out, I'm wearing shorts or some bullshit like that. But it just showed you the comedy of this organization right now. And we laugh at the Cowboys and we laugh at Jerry Jones. My man Adam here, 94.1 asked Doug if he's good with the front office. He said, yeah, but I think there's problems with them. Yeah, there's problems everywhere. And Doug would be lying if he doesn't see that. He's obviously, we know Doug, he's the same as Andy. He's not going to disclose too much to the media. Yet somehow all this shit gets leaked out every week before the game, like right before game time, the shit gets leaked out. Somebody in there has a loose lips, so we got to figure out who that is and what's going on there. My man, I don't see a game plan with Doug. Which player on offense has gotten better under him? That was something that me and you talked about, a couple weeks ago with Doug is, and just the offense in general. It's like we see Miles get going, and we go away from him. We see Reagor, we get him a completion. We go the end around the Reagor on the first play. See you, Reagor. We're not going to you again that drive. You go to Goddard, one time. Goddard gets hot. I mean, you guys remember these moments. It was just last season when Zach Ertz, was getting fed the ball consecutive, plays. He got hot. Guys get hot hands. They get comfortable. They get in a rhythm. This offense does nothing to get their playmakers in a rhythm. And, to your point there, it's just like how we've talked about Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf. These guys wouldn't do that here. Jeremy Chin wouldn't have 2 touchdowns in a game on defense here. It wouldn't happen. Jim Schwartz would ruin him just like he's ruined a lot of our players. We got we haven't even talked about the defense yet. Avonte Maddox is starting at outside corner. He's not an outside corner. We knew this before the season started. And, we're watching a game after game, and, God bless Slay because the man plays with all the heart in the world. And he's just getting shit on out there because he has zero help. He has zero, zilch. And, shout out to Rodney McLeod, who puts effort out there. But that secondary is just not that good, guys. I mean, we thought they were. We thought. Let Will Parks go, fine, whatever. You want to get young guys in there. Is Epps the guy that we want in there? Come on, I'd rather have Will Parks than Epps. Come on. If we're not giving those snaps to Kayvon Wallace or Graylin Arnold, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Epps don't need to see the field ever again for my squad, period. Let me get to some of these other comments here. It's a wild situation. It's an embarrassing situation. It's a disgrace to the fans. You know, I had like a bunch of stuff to go through here today. Honestly, I'm not going to touch on it because I'm loving the interaction with you guys. And honestly, there's not much more to talk about here. This isn't about, you know, game plan. I mean, it's about game plan. It's not about what the Eagles need to do anymore. We have been beating dead horses these last weeks as far as giving suggestions and what we think will fix the team. This team's not getting fixed this year. And, you know, we'll put out our keys to success. They're the same keys to success every freaking week. Every week it's run the ball, quick decisions for Carson, you know, get pressure. Doesn't happen every single week. So we're beating dead horses. We need to talk about the real problems here, right? Got my mom on here joining us too. Good luck getting rid of Howie. He and Lori have a deep relationship. You know, and it's a beautiful point there because great, you guys have a father-son relationship. You know, you got your, you know, the Jewish community, they got that bond there between their religion. That's not how you operate a business. I'm sorry. If a guy is not getting the job done, that is not how you that's not how you operate a business. I don't care what kind of relationship you have with Howie, Jeffrey. He's not getting the job done. He's making you look like an idiot. You know what I mean? It's stemming up. It's stemming up from Howie, and now Jeffrey looks like an idiot. You know what I mean? So whatever. I would save myself and cut the loss with Howie. That's what I would do, but that makes too much sense for Philadelphia sports, right? Let me get to some of these other comments here. Just got to see what we got here. Yeah, so I don't think we have the system for players we drafted. No, I mean, that's, you know, obvious at this point. I've seen someone say Aaron Rodgers got the ball out in like 2.5 seconds. You know, part of it's design, part of it's receivers able to get open. Part of it's just Aaron Rodgers, you know, him seeing the field. You know, I hate the way we've examined Carson Wentz this season because, you know, in all realities, it's completely unfair. I think, you know, we've all seen the throws that Carson has missed, but then you see, you know, also you see the line breaking down within 2 seconds. So, you know, if you're getting sacked every other play, sometimes the sacks are your fault, holding the ball too long. Sometimes the sacks are is offensive line's fault. Sometimes you miss a read now, you know, and it just goes down the line. So, you know, whether Aaron Rodgers is just getting the ball out quick, he's seeing the field. Obviously, he's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz at this point. You know, part of it's game plan as well. When you have a receiver like Devontae Adams, who's just a complete game changer, I mean, you saw it, 10 receptions on 12 targets, 120. I mean, you saw it coming from last week with DK Metcalf. It's crazy that one player can basically defeat our whole team. But, you know, you also had Aaron Jones out there. He ran for 130 yards. So, I mean, we were just getting demolished out there. And Green Bay is a great team. Let's not take anything away from them. They're looking like probably the best team in the NFC right now. You know, we'll see what the Saints look like when they get Drew Brees back. But, yeah, so what? I think people need to stop taking sides with Doug Carson and Howie. The real issue is Lori. Great point. You got, as an owner, at the end of the day, the bottom line, it goes straight to the top. And as the owner, if you're not seeing what the problem is here, then you're at fault. I mean, look what we're going through with John Middleton. I mean, and I just want to say this. This is actually hilarious that he said this after the Zach Wheeler rumors. He said we wouldn't trade Zach Wheeler for Babe Ruth. Motherfucker, don't you lie to us. That was bullshit. So that him saying that made me just totally not believe anything that he said at all. But, you know, my point there is just that, you know, we've already lost trust in this owner. We've lost trust in the Sixers owner, Josh Harris. And, you know, Jeff, Lori, you brought us the most recent championship. But if you can't make the changes that everybody on planet Earth can see that need to be made, then you're not getting the job done. And now the criticism is coming to you. Let's see here. Adam Maddox doesn't turn around for the ball. Doesn't see the ball. That's basic cornerback play. I don't know what to tell you. I think we've been on the fence with Maddox these last couple of years, wondering if he's any good. I mean, he had a couple plays those first 2 seasons, and he looked like a ball hawk, maybe better fit at safety, probably. Whatever the case may be, he's undersized. He doesn't play the ball very well, obviously. Can't play outside. Not much you can do there. Singleton. My guy Adam, I already missed the comment, but Singleton's developing into a star. Definitely needs to work on his pass coverage. I saw him get beat a couple times yesterday. Let me see here, which makes our Super Bowl win so confusing. I mean, like I said, whether it's a fluke, luck, I don't care. We got a ring. Thank God we got that, because if we didn't get that, say we lost that game to New England, and then we deal with this shit in the next 3 years, then we don't even have the Super Bowl to reflect on. So, I mean, thank God for that. I mean, that's the best part, I guess, right? Howie got to go loud and clear for sure, but we all know this. We all knew this, coming into the season. Let's bring up, the way he's addressed the wide receiver position. We've all talked about it. Marquise Goodwin. I mean, you think that fixes it? You think Deshaun Jackson, injury prone, Alshon Jeffrey, injury prone, fixes the situation? No. Jalen Reagor, you took him instead of Jefferson. I'm not complaining here. We saw the explosiveness of Jalen Reagor yesterday, which I was happy to see on the punt return, because it shows me that it is true. The Eagles coaching staff are just idiots. It's not Reagor and his capabilities. So it was great to see that. Front office done gave up on Wentz. Crazy. Rumors came out before the game yesterday. The front office is realizing that drafting Jalen Hurts this past offseason may be affecting Carson Wentz's confidence. Duh. What? Like, duh. Why do you even put this shit out? Like, nobody even cares. I mean, it's just so stupid to put that out there. And I'm just wondering who's leaking this bullshit. Like Babe Ruth. I mean, come on. That's that BS Schwartz scheme. Yup. Play the corners off their man, by 15 yards. You're giving up the first down before the ball's even snapped. Maddox is a slot corner, maybe free safety, something of that nature. Definitely not on the outside. Why did the Jets fire their DC today, but we still have Schwartz? Why did the Jets fire their DC and they didn't fire Adam Gase? That's the real question. But yeah, Jim Schwartz, I think that's a given this offseason that he goes. I think the Eagles don't want to seem completely dysfunctional and a mess by firing coaches in the middle of the season. Jeffrey Lurie wants to seem like he has some bit of respect left for himself and his organization. And he's going to let these guys finish out the season, and we'll see where it goes from there. When will he be gone? Yeah, end of the season, I would imagine that's a given with Schwartz. He doesn't train his CBs to play the ball at all. Nope. Never looking for the ball. That's why you don't see us with turnovers very often. Just complete incompetence, and it's all around the team. It's all around the team. I guess we can finish out with defense. You guys brought up Schwartz. Schwartz is, I mean, it's been the last couple of years. I mean, it's usually a specific game that will like just throw the fan base all the way off. And, other times he can get by, just by the rest of the team having so much dysfunction. But the third downs, the playing the corners off their man, just the complete development of the defense, the lack of linebacker play, the lack of linebacker talent, wanting linebackers, partially Howie obviously doesn't value linebackers, which, to the defensive point, I know we talked about Alex Singleton earlier, which, I think he's a guy that, he has great potential. Obviously, he was a Canadian Defensive Player of the Year, Canadian League. Excuse me. But, he's looking pretty good. He blows up plays. I like that. He's always in the backfield, it seems like, on run plays. Pass coverage, obviously, as with all of our linebackers, is something they need to work on. But Singleton, I think, has the most upside right now, followed probably behind TJ Edwards. Davion Taylor, we started to see how athletic he was. It looks like he got a pretty serious injury, according to what Doug said. But I think, as far as our struggles with the defense, I mean, you saw Aaron Jones gashed us yesterday. Whenever Devontae Adams wasn't catching the ball and Slay, other guys were just wide open. You saw the tight end Tunyon wide open for the tutty. It's obvious what the defense is lacking. I think, the pass rush gets there sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. I think they're a little hit or miss there. We probably need I don't think we need defensive line help, although we probably will let, Malik Jackson go at the end of this season. But with Brandon Graham playing at a high level, which he's been quiet for a couple games, it feels like now. But teams are picking up on him. He had a high sack total. Fletcher Cox, we'll see what goes down with him. Devon Hargrave's starting to pick up his pace a little bit, show us why we paid him that money. But I think the obvious need, good point here, George. If guys are getting open, if Aaron Rodgers is getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds, the defensive line has no time to get home. Get CBs, the DBs in general need to give the defensive linemen more time. And that falls on linebackers too, I think. And I think that's kind of what I was getting at here is that, while I won't be mad, I obviously would love to get like a guy like Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, these guys at wide receiver, game breakers. Obviously it will not be mad, but Micah Parsons makes just a ton of sense at that 6th pick if we do get a top 10 pick. Get some prime, prestigious talent in at that linebacker group. The last time that we really had, somebody that looked like a true stud could really be something was probably Jordan Hicks. It'll fall on the linebackers. We got to get some talent in that position group. We're picking guys out of the bottom of the well, and it's worked out sometimes it hasn't. With guys like Singleton, you were using Jerry here for years now, who was completely unqualified. Let's be honest. So I think the obvious choice of draft pick, top 10 has to be Micah Parsons at this point. Some people will argue, O-line depth. I think you address that in the later rounds, just because you do have guys there for right now with Brooks and Johnson coming back next year. You definitely have to address some depth, though, there because these guys are getting older. And, like I've said, the last couple games, Lane Johnson had an eerily similar season to what Jason Peters has been doing the last 2 years. And you just hope that doesn't continue. They should go online early to help I do agree with you there, Adam. I do think, that 2nd or 3rd round pick is probably where I would address some of those O-line concerns. You definitely need to find a replacement for Kelsey coming up here soon. Because, we're running this guy into the ground. This guy can't afford to take a break on our offensive line. So we're running him into the ground. He'll be retired soon, with this shit show that's going on in Philly. So there's a lot of holes there that we got to look to fill. You hope that guys like Herbig can be reliable. Jack Driscoll has been, serviceable. And then, of course, Jordan Mailata has been great for, given where he's came from. And, then I guess the odd man out here is, Andre Dillard. Just a really weird situation right now where, Andre Dillard has missed the first 2 seasons, basically, basically 2 entire seasons almost. And, people are calling him a bust. I can't really call him a bust yet just because he hasn't played. So he's not necessarily a bust. He just hasn't been on the field. And you have to wonder what they're going to do with him. What is a market for Andre Dillard like if you do try to maybe move him so that you can have Jordan Mailata there full time? Or do you, go the route of maybe keeping him as a backup for Lane or Mailata? He struggled heavily on that right tackle side, though, just to put that out there. But a lot of interesting stuff to happen this offseason. It's going to only get crazier. If we go into this, this next game against New Orleans, say they decide to start Jalen Hurts. And you know, wildly enough, Eagles never cease to amaze me. Hurts comes in and wins the game against New Orleans. What happens? What's going to be the talk? So I tweeted it out this morning, we're going to go down this rabbit hole, once Jalen Hurts wins a game. How many games would Jalen Hurts have won if we would have just benched Carson earlier? We're going to go down this rabbit hole. It'll be the talk all offseason. It'll be about Wentz and Hurts until that is addressed. And, I know everybody's talking about trading Wentz, trading Hurts. I even said something about, letting Hurts finish out the season, build his market, show us some stuff so that he could be available in the trade market. Somebody might actually want him. My best guess is that we go into next season with both of these quarterbacks still in the roster. I don't think either of them are going anywhere. Carson isn't really. Everybody talks about the financials. Take a $33 million cap. Why would you take a $33 million dead cap hit? That's stupid. You don't do that either. You're going to see what you have in your franchise quarterback. You had diagnosed him as your franchise quarterback when you paid the extension. So you have to see what you got there next season. Hopefully you get the rest of the team together, and then you can truly evaluate Carson Wentz. And it will be his last shot. I mean, we've been saying this. We've been saying this for seasons now, that this is Carson's chance to prove himself. This is Carson's chance to prove himself. Prove that he's not injury prone. Prove that he's elite. We're running out of time here. Let's be honest. We are. And if you think they're going to trade away Jalen Hurts, who obviously they saw potential in, they're giving him a shot at starting, this season already. If you think they're going to get rid of him when they're still unsure about Wentz now, then you're confused. That's not going to happen either. So I think we go into next season with both of those guys. Linebackers, they seem not to be able to cover it all, and the DL is stopping the run, not the linebackers. Correct. You saw yesterday, once Green Bay gashed us, Aaron Jones, linebackers have to be there to help. I mean, I know Alex Singleton, he's all over the place. I mean, he had like 12 tackles yesterday, something, over double-digit tackles. He needs some help. You can't just be one linebacker either. So, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying these holes in our team. It's not like we just need one. We need multiple players at multiple positions, and it's not looking great. I mean, let's talk about the DBs. You go into next season, what? Jalen Mills is on a one-year contract. Are you for sure with Kayvon Wallace and Graylin Arnold? What are we doing there? Are we addressing the safety position in the draft next year again? We'll see. Rodney McLeod, don't know what they're going to do with him. Is he going to be back next season? We'll see. Are they going to address that position? Cornerback, obviously. We let Rasul go. We let Sidney Jones go. What are we going to do at cornerback next year? Vontae Maddox isn't the answer. Cravon LeBlanc, sorry, he's been disappointing this season. Who else? Nickel Roby-Coleman, he's gone. I'm surprised he wasn't cut, just like Will Parks. So there's a lot that goes into next season. Like I said, guys like Malik Jackson, there's going to be some depth pieces needed on that defensive line. It's endless, guys. And I think it is obvious here, with this discussion today, it's endless. We could sit here and talk all day. Depending on whether Schwartz is back, a defensive player may have to be drafted high for a new scheme. Yeah, that's where I'm at, George, because, let's say we do get Schwartz out of here. Bare minimum, it's just Schwartz fired at the end of the season, right? We're going to have a new scheme in here, hopefully. Oh, my God, hopefully. We're going to have to see, is it a guy like Micah Parsons, that comes in, fits that scheme? Do we go, defensive line early? Again, I pray not. I don't think we need to be going that route early. Obviously could go DB there. Patrick Surtain. There's a couple guys out there. You got to address defense early. As much as I love Jamar Chase, I love Jamar Chase. I love a lot of these wide receivers, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. As much as I want to, you got to invest a little bit into the defensive, linebacking talent, DB talent. You got to go high one of these years in one of those groups and get some really, high potential talent in there. Whether they do it, we'll see. It depends a lot on Howie Howie's not drafting a linebacker first round. Sorry. I feel like our personnel can be competitive with a new scheme. Correct. That's very true. Whether it is Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz, whatever the case may be, I think both guys do have a little bit of something there that they can be good quarterbacks. Both of them. I think both of them can be good quarterbacks. We just need to decide what we want to do as an offense next season and, really buy into something. We don't buy into anything. Our offense isn't built around anything. There's no, you get to 3rd and 3, there's no go-to, play. We got the 3rd and 1 on that first drive yesterday, and it was a Carson Wentz sneak. He got the first down. I was nervous as shit whenever we got the 3rd and 1 and Miles Sanders didn't get that first down. Because I'm like, what are we going to do here on 3rd and 1? Are we going to drop back and pass? I mean, you just never know with this team. And while that's, it's good to have, be this mysterious, surprise, trick play team. No, you got to get the basics down first before you can get tricky and, get all fancy with shit. So these guys got to find out who they are. And, if it means Doug's out the door and you got a new coach trying to, set a culture and just get these guys to buy into something. What do you guys want to do well? What do you guys want to do to be great at? Teams pick pieces, yes, and they decide they want to be great at something. And, with us, it used to be in the trenches, the offensive line and the defensive line. It's not happening like that anymore. Got some more comments coming in here. I saw somebody say about trading Doug. Sorry, nobody's trading for Doug. He would definitely get a job after if we did let him go, but nobody's trading for Doug. That's hilarious. We need 2 more Singletons at linebacker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. We need multiples. We need 2 more Singletons. We need 2 more Slays at cornerback. We need 3 Malcolm Jenkins at safety. We need help. And I don't know where it's coming from because, we don't have any salary. There's no salary cap left. We are in a terrible financial situation. And it's going to be interesting. Here we go. Offensively, we lack imagination and execution. Defensively, we lack talent. Beautifully put, George. Defensively, the talent just isn't there. It's clear. I mean, Jim Schwartz, we could say what we want about him. He doesn't have the best players at certain positions. That safety position is lacking. Outside of Slay, DBs are lacking in total, and then linebackers, obviously. Lack imagination and execution, discipline, preparation. That's where I hold Doug accountable is the penalties, the slow starts. Now, I think that's where we draw the lines there, and then you shift to Carson and what to blame him for, missed throws, holding the ball too long. And then you go back up to how he played. Obviously, we go down this line every time. But, you got to figure out who you are as an offense. My man Charles here, why don't we use Sanders, who developed the offensive plan yesterday? Who developed the offense? We need answers, right? There's no clarification, and the Eagles are great at not being clear on what they're doing. But Amir. They're doing the same thing to Miles as they're doing to Wentz, setting him up for failure. You put him in there, the first couple drives, he gets 5 carries, and he gets out carried by Jordan Howard. You get no time to get in a rhythm as a running back. Running backs get in rhythms too, just like all players, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Any skill positions, they get in rhythms, and Miles is taken out. If he gets one negative play or just one run play where he only gets a yard, taken out of the game, we're going pass happy. That's it. And I spoke on it earlier in the show. Miles Sanders used to be involved in the passing game. I know he's dropped some passes this year, but confidence is lacking all around on this team, and the coaches do nothing to give their guys confidence. And it's amazing to me. I think I won't say they've ruined, Miles Sanders like they've ruined Wentz, but it's getting there. I mean, if you're Miles Sanders, how do you believe in this coaching staff? I mean, he loves Deuce Staley apparently, but Deuce Staley is the one that's putting these running back rotations together. So, I mean, we're ruining Miles. We ruined Travis Fulgham within a matter of like 2 weeks. We were able to, shut that shit completely down. You want to get 400 receiving yards in 4 weeks, Travis? Get the hell off my field. Right? That's what it seems like. You want to get you're getting too close to 500 receiving yards, Travis Fulgham. Get the hell off my field. We only pass the wide receivers so often around here. And that's the craziest part. We throw 40 times a game, but somehow these wide receivers we want to get the ball aren't even getting targets. Where do the targets go if we're passing 40 times a game? Oh, my goodness. Definitely lacking imagination. Yeah. Solve a problem. Get Miles 20 touches. Problem solved. Put this into perspective, Charles. 18 touches the last 2 weeks for Miles Sanders, who is probably your best offensive weapon. Probably maybe your best player in general. 18 touches in 2 weeks. You're not doing your offense any favors, and you're not doing Miles Sanders any favors. You're not doing your quarterback any favors. Makes me wonder why they chose Miles. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, we're wasting him, and it'll be funny because we're not gonna extend Miles. He'll be rookie contract and done here. And he'll go to the Steelers or some shit. And, he grew up a Steelers fan. He'll go to Pittsburgh across the state and, dominate. They'll use him like Le'Veon Bell, and they'll get probably 2 or 3 good years out of him. And we'll be living in our, bathing in our tears for the next couple of years, just like we are about DK, all these other guys we passed up on and missed out on. Let's not forget about J-Jaw either, Let him go to New England, like my man George always says. Let him go to New England. Let him go to the Chargers, somewhere where they can use receivers like him. I mean, it's crazy. You spend a second round, third round pick, whatever it was on J-Jaw, and then boom, he's inactive. What? He's inactive like 3 weeks in a row. He's a healthy scratch. He's your second, third round pick, whatever the hell he was. What are we doing here? But Alshon, he's going to get 60, 70% of the snaps. There's times where Alshon was on the field and Rager and Fulgham were not. That shouldn't happen, and it can't. Let me see here. Do we actually believe that our front office was smarter than the Green Bay and Detroit in terms of Fulgham being a star? Good point. Is Fulgham just not that good? It's hard to tell when he's not getting targets, but then you can go, if you're not getting separation, it's a rabbit hole once again. Once again, no clarity with this team. They're so bad that you can't diagnose anything. It's just a guessing game at this point because they're so bad all over. How many running backs have we had since the Super Bowl? What? So we let LeGarrette Blount go. We had Jay Ajayi in and out, Corey Clement in and out, Boston Scott in and out. We had Adams there for a little bit. I can't even remember his first name. We had Adams there, Wendell Smallwood. Then we finally got Jordan Howard and Miles last season. Jason Hunt. I mean, they've been endless this year, but I think the common denominator of the running backs is, I think this season we would have been better off if we kept Jordan Howard from the jump and have that power back. If you're not going to give Miles his carries anyways, at least have, a thunder and lightning punch there. And then, of course, you got Boston Scott, who's, Boston Scott is really interesting because he's not a guy that I want getting, a boatload of snaps or touches. But he is a guy, if you just give him a few snaps a game, he might break a big play off. And, I don't think he's good in, high, like a lot of snaps, but I think he is good, just as with his spark ability. He is a very just, big play, just a big playmaker. Do we not want to pay a running back? Hell no, we ain't paying a running back. That was my thing last year with, with Miles Sanders was, he had such a good rookie year. I imagined that he was going to rush for, over 1,000 yards this season. And my whole thing at the end of that season was, will the Eagles even extend him? With any team, because teams just don't teams just don't value the running back as much anymore. It is weird, but it makes sense at the same time just because they do get beat up. I just don't see us extending a running back. I think we would just draft another one. I think that's, the way most smart organizations are going this route these days. So in that case, maybe we will extend. I don't know. I do see here, George. Yeah, he doesn't have very much tread on his tires, but he has been beat up the last 2 seasons a little bit as well. So we'll see how they value him. I don't see them valuing running backs. Just like they don't value linebackers. They let Jordan Hicks walk. I would imagine they would let Miles Sanders walk. Fulgham has 4 targets over the last 2 games. Yeah. 4 targets. I mean, where are the targets going? Where are they going? They're throwing 40 to 50 times a game. Where are the targets going? Who are they throwing it to? If we rookie contract and dump him, I mean, if anything you've learned from Howie, never get your hopes up. It's a shit show. It's dysfunctional. Anything that you think is smart to do, just imagine them doing the opposite, because that's the way it is. About to cry. Yeah, I've been about to cry this whole fucking season. It's been miserable. It's been depressing. I mean, Sundays are miserable. I was talking to my girlfriend before the game yesterday because we had the 4:00 game, and I thought it was nerves. Like, I thought I was nervous, but no, it was dread. I was dreading the game about to start, and what I was about to have to put myself through for 4 hours, because I'm not going to give up on the Birds. I'm not going to stop watching them. That's not me. I'm not going to do that. But it is miserable. Like, these Sundays are dreadful. I enjoyed that bye week so much, just watching, all my fantasy players and just going around the league and watching teams score. Like, the Eagles don't score often, man. And we love a good team. Obviously, we would admire a good defense, but scoring the ball is what creates excitement. I mean, my God, we haven't scored over 30 points a game in a game this season, right? I don't think that's happened yet. So it's amazing. My man Darius here. It is as if Doug jinxed us with the winning culture, like Vince Young did with the Dream Team comment. Right. Crazy, right? It's crazy how those words come back to bite you. Another point there, Darius, very similar, is the QB factory. We just want to get guys in here and develop them. We're the QB factory. We want multiple quarterbacks. We're going to use packages. Motherfucker, you can't get one quarterback to play good, let alone 2 or 3. This is no QB factory. That's the most hilarious shit. The winning culture. Right. Yeah, win 9 games and get bounced in the first round. Now we're looking at oh my God, we might not even get 4 wins this season. I know you guys remember that 4-12 season. Oh my God. And we were headed down that road, man. I didn't expect this from this season, guys. I didn't. Why not extend Miles? Yeah, we already touched on that. I think he's good. We're just not using him correctly. I think so too, Mir. I think that not just Miles, it's everybody. It's everybody. So they're not using anybody right. How's it going, Rich? Nice to see you joining us, man, over from the UK. I appreciate you, brother. I don't even think they know Miles' ceiling. No, they don't. They don't, because if they did, they would use them, similar to like a Christian McCaffrey, a Le'Veon Bell back on the Steelers, that all-around back that is a quarterback's best friend. They don't use them like that. And, Carson and Miles, it doesn't even seem like they have a relationship like that to where, I'm going to be there. If you don't see down the field, I'll be there for you, Wentz. So just look to me. I'm going to be open. I'll get the ball. We'll make play. No, none of that. We don't scheme anything like that. Never. Josh Adams, another experiment. That's who I was looking for. Josh Adams. I think he ended up leaving here and going to the Jets. But, I actually kind of like Josh Adams, and it was a down year. So, you take everything that happened that year with a grain of salt. Everybody remembers J-Matt too. I thought he was going to be a wide receiver 1 at one point. Joke's on me, right? Yeah, Howie should be locked in the team facility during the draft with food and water, of course. Hey, they could do the same thing they did to him while Chip Kelly was here. Go lock him in the basement of the NovaCare complex. Lock him in the basement, man. Don't let him touch our personnel. Don't let him touch them. Is that the season we got Wentz? Yeah, when we went 4-12, man, we got that. We got like a top 5 pick. Ended up packaging that with a couple picks to trade up for that number 2 pick to get Wentz, I believe. But yeah, that was Chip Kelly. And you know what's crazy? And I hate to say this, you guys will probably kill me, but it feels like Chip Kelly was up until he got rid of Deshaun and LaShawn and all of our best players. It seemed like that was just much more fun football. I mean, the up-tempo-ness, like the offense, it was way more exciting. I will say that. Now, when he brought in DeMarco Murray and that disaster and Sam Bradford, I mean, we'll never forgive him for that. But between the excitement and the up-tempo and actually having a game plan, like going into a game, Chip Kelly, while we might not have agreed with it, he at least knew what he was going to do when he goes into a game. Like, I'm going to run an up-tempo offense. We're going to push the pace, get the defense tired, and on the other end, it made our defense very tired because we were always off the field quick, of course. But at least he knew who he was. At least he knew he was a fucking dick. You know what I mean? Like, at least he knows who he is. This team doesn't even know who they are, and neither does the coaches. Miss his smoothies though. Yeah, right. I miss how he took care of the players and had the players taking care of their bodies. I do miss that. But in all reality, it seems like guys were just a lot more healthy when he was here. We need an OC, please. I think, let's say, we don't fire Doug, we don't fire Howie, we just go into the season. If we can at least just get an offensive coordinator in there, I think Eagles fans will be happy. And a notable offensive coordinator, not fresh start or moving a guy up within, or none of that. We need somebody outside the organization, fresh face, fresh game plan, fresh playbook. I think the fans will be happy if we at least did that. So yeah, we need an OC. Like we need an OC yesterday. Like last season, we needed an OC. You know what I mean? Quarterback's best friend. Yeah, running backs, tight ends should always be the quarterback's best friend. Seems like in a lot of these plays, there's no safety blanket design there. There's nobody to just dump the ball off to. Whatever. I'm not an offensive coordinator. It's the offense we need now, right? Yeah, up-tempo, man. Wentz plays better in an up-tempo offense. I hate to say that. I'm never going to vouch to bring Chip Kelly anywhere near this organization. But, yeah, definitely miss it. Chip got figured out. Yeah, of course. And, maybe Doug got figured out too. Maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe that's where we are in Philly. We just get, to like these 4th and 5th seasons and it's just stale. And, we just never update. No innovation. Only good this Chip Kelly guy did for us was draft Lane Johnson. Yeah. Stud, probably going to be a Hall of Famer. So he did get us him. Lost Macklin and Deshaun Jackson, nothing. Chip had the wrong personnel for his scheme, correct? Carson Wentz would fit that scheme a lot better. Yeah, misses smoothies. Who then misses 16 games of suspension to 2 years? Oh my goodness, guys. And the crazy thing is, man, the issues are never ending. And we could sit here. You guys are helping me out here by bringing all of them up. And it's just crazy. It's crazy to see what's happened to this organization just, 2 or 3 short years after being at the pinnacle of NFL organizations. But I think, there's back to what Darius said earlier about those comments, and it seems like they come with karma. Some people say we sold our souls to win that Super Bowl. I mean, we might have done that. We might have done that. But the winning culture, during the Super Bowl speech, winning, this is get used to this. Hold your tongue, Doug. Yeah, let's relax. We just got the chance. Let's enjoy the ship, and that's it. But no, we had to jump out there on that limb. Lane Johnson had to throw out, we have more fun than New England. Yeah, all that fun is catching up, motherfuckers. That's what it is. These rest days, rest days. Winners get rest days. Losers don't get rest days. I don't care how old you are. You're a loser. You need to get back on the practice field. It don't make sense. But culture. It's not a winning culture. There's been guys, it's come out of the locker room the last 2 years. Scandrick did it first. Guys are still talking about that Super Bowl. Will Parks even said it. It's not 2017 anymore. It's 2020, guys. I think that stems all the way up through Doug, through Lori, through Howie. Just still living in that glory, guys. But, you're putting us through this miserable, miserable, miserable season. Miserable seasons. Because, let's be honest. Last season wasn't that fun. They gave us some good stuff down the stretch. But you start out the season slow. So then you pick it up. You get into the playoffs somehow. And then your quarterback, that wasn't fun. Mind you, it's not Carson's fault, but it's nothing fun about that. The season before that, Carson starts out, we get Nick at the beginning of the season, starts out terrible. Rush Carson back, plays not so great. We're in a hole. Nick has to rally us again. So, this shit isn't fun. Fun is Kansas City Chiefs. Dominance. Steelers are fun. That's a fun team. That's a winning culture. When you do it with, dignity and discipline. This team isn't fun. This team's a walking disaster. It looks like I wouldn't be surprised if I drove by the link and it's on fucking fire. I don't know what's going on. Seems like every week, we're beating dead horses. But guys, that's all I've really got for you guys today. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. Yeah, comparing ourselves to New England. Wrong answer. I think Doug is over the glory, but Howie isn't. He's pissed for that. Yeah, that's probably a lot of the animosity that's coming from Doug right now. Is like, get your head out of your ass, Howie. Doug's staff can't develop players. Yeah, it's what we've been going through this, guys, and we'll finish out the season. Luckily, the rest of my Philly fans that are still watching here, we at least got the Sixers, and they look somewhat promising. Don't get your hopes up too much, but at least it's promising. They seem to have made the right moves with that front office. But George, another great point. Is it Doug's staff or is that Howie's staff? Whose staff is it? We could do this all day, man. There's fine lines here that it's very blurry. And that's what happens with a bad team. We're a bad team. We're the Cleveland Browns, for the last, shout out to the Browns. They're 9-3 now. Well, we took your spot. Thank you for that. Yeah, we're headed towards a top 5 pick, guys. Congratulations. But yeah, guys, I do appreciate you guys joining me. You made this very, very good show. One more comment, you guys don't stuff. Doug looks too pissed for it to be his staff. Yeah, man. Hey, that's a great point, guys. But yeah, like I said, enjoy what you can. If you're a Sixers fan, NBA season's coming. We got college basketball back. This football season's over, guys. The goal should be the top 5 pick at this point. We need to draft. Oh my God, we will draft a QB. QB factory. And we'll have 3 quarterbacks, and we'll have packages for all 3 of them. That way, none of them can get a rhythm. Appreciate you, Mir. Appreciate you, Adam. Appreciate it. Hey, the one great Coach Stoutland is a holdover from the last regime. Yup. And, Aaron Moorhead's been decent this year, it seems like. But ruling's still out on him as well. Go Birds. Love the show. Thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back later this week with my man Luke Stansfield of 4th and Joan. We're going to discuss the matchup with New Orleans. I'm kind of hoping that Jalen Hurts is a starting quarterback. I just want to see what he's got at this point. This season's a wash. But yeah, look at the bright side. Jamar Chase and Eagles green. Or at the very, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain. We got some options if we're in the top 10. So, hopefully it's just Howie not making the decision. But Guys, that's it. I'll be back later this week with the New Orleans preview. And then I'll also be back with the NBA season preview. It'll be a good time for sure. I always love, interacting with you guys. Jamar and Justin, don't even say that shit. Keep that shit on my comment. We don't tease ourselves anymore around here. But thank you guys. Be sure to give me a follow over on Twitter at @STPhillySports1. @Scotty Drown is my personal page. Also, check out my guys over at Heat Ratio Sports. We're building something big there with Tony Cotilio and Jigsaw, So give me a subscription, over on YouTube. Head over to Apple Podcasts, whatever your preference is. Be sure to subscribe and review. Appreciate all you guys. That's it for me today. Peace out.